is killing me, and I must confess, I like boobies, like boobies. Welcome back to Small Camp Geeks. What? I don't know how long it's been. It's been a while, guys. I have been really ill. I've been essentially bedridden for like over 2 months now, something like that, since midway through October, I believe, somewhere around that time. And I'm still ill. I've had blood tests waiting for the results, so that's... Ooh, we're on 265 subscribers now on my channel. I am sorry, though. I do apologize for not being able to upload. I have been pretty ill. Having said that, I will start getting back into video. There are lots of videos that are really complicated, so I might not be able to do them, but I'll be doing them within the year. But this video simply came about, the idea came about because I was watching a video about Harry Potter, or the game, Hogwarts, a Legacy, I think it's what it's called. And it made me realise, I was in the comments and someone said they should make a Percy Jackson game out of this, and someone said, yeah, and you should get a random house. But I don't think the house should be random. I think you either choose, should choose, but that's what everyone else thought. And so then I was thinking, I made a TikTok about this, I was thinking, instead of doing random, or instead of picking, your first playthrough, you can pick on your others, I think your first playthrough though, you have to, it gives you, technically random but not random, where it gives you design your character, you have a friend, Steyr, who takes you there to Camp Half-Blood, you get shown around the camp, and all the different functions, this is what the sleeping area, the training area, etc. And essentially, it will tell you what it can do for you during the game, Oh, you can go here to improve your strength. You can go here to improve your agility, which helps you level up. But I thought what you should get is, once that's all done, once it shows you around the camp, explains, the basic thing of what a camp is, etc. You do the test. You do all the different things. You do the climbing wall that's there. You do a race. You do canoeing. You do javelin. You do archery. You do sword fighting lessons, which teaches you the mechanics. And then at the end, you have sparring, capture the flag, and things like that. And those ones. So the first one is showing you the mechanics and the trainings that go on there. And whilst you're there, it scores you, right? And those scores you get influence which camp you're from. For example, if you're having a fight, if you're good with melee weapons, fists, swords, hammers, axes, daggers, anything like that, and you are aggressive and strong, then you're an Aries child. If you are good at canoeing, swimming, and things like that, you are a child of Poseidon. If you are smart about things and good at crafting things, you're a child of Athena. Do you get where I'm going with this? So your play style determines which godly parent you're from. But what I think it should do, or if some people think it might be hard to do, so I think it takes a rough estimate and it gives you to choose from. For example, if you're an all-rounder, it might choose Hermes. But for example, you might be quick. You might be quick, good with the bow, right? That might be your thing. So then, Artemis. You might be Artemis or Apollo. And even though Artemis doesn't really work out, but she has her the hunters. And I want in this game where you can literally meet. And I want the game so where you can meet Camp Jupiter, the hunters of Artemis, the Amazons. I want it to be where you can interact with them all. And I'd like the game to be almost an open world. You have Camp Half-Blood, which is the one where you go, and you can do all the different trainings which increase your stats. And then you have an overall, obviously, level. But you can improve your stats without improving your level, because I think there are so many games where you have to improve your level to improve your stats. But there are some on like solo leveling where you can raise your levels by doing certain things without raising your level So it obviously helps. So, for example, you can train and be at the top end of your level. So I was talking, but then I was thinking, you're like, obviously, it'd be a hard game, and I think it should be an online game. You're with other campers. I think that's what would make it even better. You'll have different quests to go on, your quests where you have to go in a group of 3, and if there's no one online in your area, it will just give you either regular people, or depending on your godly parent, how well you do around camp, etc., things like that, you could have maybe a main story character, like, not Percy, but maybe someone like the Stoll brothers. Unless this takes place pre-Percy Jackson, in which it would either have to be very old, or you can't be the big 3. For balancing issues, that would probably make sense, because the big 3, if you're a child of the big 3, you're just innately overpowered. Or it'll be afterwards, where after Percy Jackson, I would kind of like it to have Percy Jackson as an adult somewhere in the world where you can meet him. But I want it to be where not everyone gets the same quests. Depending on your personality, your godly parent, and how you play determines what type of quests you go on. And obviously you can decline quests, you can go on quests, etc. And you're there all year round, and then you can go. You're there for the summer and winter, if you want to be there for winter. And when you're not, you're doing other things. If this makes any sense. But I think a Percy Jackson game done right would be way better than any. It would be one of the most popular games out there. Think similar to what Hogwarts Legacy is going to be, combined with like your Batman, Spider-Man games, where you can improve stuff like your gear, your weapons. You can go find different things, and literally you can find weapons, like you can find a trident. Maybe not Poseidon's trident, but maybe Neptune's trident, a different trident, but then Neptune's a thing. But you can find legendary gear that were once owned by heroes, villains, etc. And I want it to be a game where you can choose whether you're good, bad, somewhere in between, and how you react, how you interact with other characters. You could be good, you could do all the good things, but you might not be. But if you don't do things like on a huge level, you won't be considered the hero of the camp. Like Percy is. Or the big 7, I think it is, big 8, because you got the 7 demigods. No, you got 7 demigods, then Nico, then Reina, who are like the legendary campers. But if I had to say, you could have, so you have a moral system, but you also have a popularity. And what I mean by that is how you interact with the other interactions depends on how popular you are in camp. Now that doesn't do anything good, but what it could mean is becoming friends with someone, therefore getting a different quest. You've become friends with this child of a child of Hermes. He gets a quest. He invites you along. You can get more experience, more things that way. Anyway, this is just a little idea that I came up with the other day, so it's not thoroughly planned out, but I'm going to kind of plan it out in my head with a few and see if I can get any others involved, so we can make a game, and then maybe if we can make it theoretically good enough, maybe we can pitch it to somebody. Who knows? Anyway, I'll try to do my best to get back to YouTube from now on. Sorry, I have been ill, and still I'm only up for a few hours now. For example, today I got up at 5. I know it's bad, but I got up at 5, and I'm heading to bed now. And the only reason I'm still up right now is my phone and iPad needed charging. So while they're charging, I am doing this, which I was going to do anyway. I just did it now because I'm about to go up. Anyway, thank you guys for being so patient with me. I promise I'll try to be the best as I can for you guys. So remember, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, comment on what you think of what a Percy Jackson game should be or could be like. And while we're talking about Percy Jackson, I'm going to say this with my chest so everyone knows. Percy Jackson, the book series, is better than Harry Potter, and if the series is done right, it will be more popular. Harry Potter is only more popular because of the movies. Now, I'm not saying it's not that it shouldn't be, but I'm saying Harry Potter is more popular than Percy Jackson because the books became famous became very popular after the movies. So if the Percy Jackson series is done right, it will be more popular, or should be, because it's better. Same with the game. Having said that, I do love Harry Potter, so don't take this as me hating Harry Potter. Even though Percy can take Harry Potter and a lot of the other top wizards down with relative ease. Just throwing that out there. Bye. Excuse me, I am back. I'm an idiot. This is what being ill does to you. I completely forgot to mention how I think certain things will work in terms of what godly parent. For example, we know Poseidon, children of Poseidon are great with water, but and they get boosts. They've got they can control water, things like that. I think that's going to be hard to implement, but I want it where you can breathe underwater, you get buffs, and I want it where you can improve the skill tree. And the way I was talking about it on my TikTok was you get, for example, you get your fighting skill tree, with weapons, and you can improve your skill with weapons and unarmed weapons, things like that. No hand-to-hand combat, and for example, sword fighting. And you can improve that, and you get different skills, I guess you should say, to improve. But in terms of your power set, Children of Poseidon, because it also kills earthquakes, as well as control water. So I want it, for example, you could choose to improve just to go full earthquake and little bits of that, or full water. Or to be a more better representation is Athena. As a child of Athena, I think it should be, you could either choose to improve your intellect, strategy type things, or maybe your crafting. For example, and what I mean is your intellect I don't know how that will impact the game, but I think it should be part of the game because it's your godly character. Maybe it makes things easier, picking locks, things like that, even though, just to clarify, picking locks would be more of a Hermes type thing. But you've also got your combat, so you can make an Athena which can go toe-to-toe with Ares kids in terms of combat, or you can make one that's very good, solely good at crafting, or a mixed, etc. And eventually you can maybe improve them all and be a legend like Percy Jackson. But I don't want it. But the way I want it is you don't get overly powerful very quickly. Like you have to grind, but obviously not too slow. So you can be powerful, but I don't want you on Percy Jackson level powerful. Maybe eventually get there. Online game, But that's just my little 2 cents. I'll actually be going now. Bye. That's another lie. But I think another good example is Children of Hephaestus, like Leah. Maybe you can do something to unlock the rare skill of being immune to fire and being able to control fire. And then, when you have that also affects your crafting skill. Not affects your crafting skill, but you can gain another ability, but obviously that will slow down your ability to improve your crafting ability. And I think with your crafting ability as well, that can be broken down into things you can make on the fly, small little trinkets things, but also crafting weapons, things like that. And I think in this world, you can have the better. You can Hephaestus's children could help make warships. Obviously, it takes time, but as you make it, you can grow better. But how good the warship turns out, etc., and all that depends on your crafting level. Same with weapons. So children of Hephaestus can grow immensely in terms of crafting, if they solely worked on crafting, which would improve them, and whatever they would do, improve their overall crafting ability. For example, if they made 100 swords, it would improve their swords, the crafting swords by like 3, for example, and their crafting overall by 1. And then, because then it becomes, can you afford something? And in this world, you don't just have to pay, but you can do favors. For example, I'll get you this that you need if you can make me a sword, and it'll be about how powerful you are to be able to get that from them, or or you have to invest in someone who has potential. Anyway, that's.
I think something amazing's about to happen! Yes, I think that too!
You're about to get a welcome you'll never forget.
What I want is I'll take you down. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in and not getting, there ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, here on screen, okay, it's a dream. And I pray as a team, one day it'll be me. If I